虚呢？这两个词其实一开始我觉得很难把它们联系起来，感觉物质就是一个材料，就是一个没有生命的一个东西而已啊。
好的。大家看到这题目嘛，每个人都跟我说，为什么叫这个名字啊？好奇怪啊！因为所有的材料展嘛，因为大家如果去看到的话，都会说，什么钢铁材料、金属材料啊，什么化学材料或者是纺织材料。但是我们这次呢，就是说不聚焦这样的一个分类的体系，我们把它作为一个有情绪的或者是有性格的材料的这样的特点来展示。比如说有些材料就特别好脾气的。
As a material that has emotions. For example, some materials are very endurable. You can manage to whatever extent that you want. And some of the materials, they get warm when you touch with a warm hand. And it's said very well that, for example, sometimes we demonstrating graphene and some other types of high-end materials, but we want to have a close instance with all the customers with such a exhibition. So that is why we call it the emotional material. So we have talked a lot, and now let's get in and see what are the new materials demonstrated here today. So today we are very pleased to have with us Ms. Zhou Ming, who is an instructor from Shanghai Science and Technology Museum, and they will accompany us on our tour in this museum today, and they're going to tell us what are the features and characteristics of these new materials and what sensational impression that they can give us. So we come in, we feel that we're in a sensational maze. Yes, and the first part of this museum is sensational maze, and you can feel this with your eyes and ears and with your nose. And the first part of this area is for visual display. And now let's take a look at this one. So you may have such kind of experience when you are in a subway, you're staring at your cell phone, and all of a sudden you found out that the guy sitting beside you is also staring at your cell phone, and then you may feel that your privacy is infringed. So you can help this technology. You can help with this technology, vision control film, and it can guard against some angles so that others, they won't be able to stare at your phone. And so now let's take a look at what technology is this. For example, I have a hand here. You can actually see it from this angle. Why? Because this is it's visible only for an angle of 30 degrees, but if you move your hand a little bit, if the angle is larger than 30 degrees, then you won't be able to see your hand. So this is like the shutter window, right? You can only see something from a certain angle. You're perfectly right, and we actually call it a micro shutter window. We actually call it a macro blind window, and it's very effective. So nowadays people pay a lot of attention to privacy. It's already actually in use, and we even have started selling it on the internet, and a lot of these technologies, they are actually already in use in our daily life. So it's only the problem that maybe we haven't discovered them in our reality, in our daily life, but you cannot deny that these technologies, they are closely related to our lives. So by pressing this button, you can take a look at this screen. So with just one click, this screen becomes translucent. Yes, it's just one click. Why? Let's take a look. This actually is a electronically controlled translucent film, and it actually consists of two conductive layers of films, and it's filled with some material in it, and when it is injected with electricity, it will become translucent, and the translucency ratio can reach more than 75%. And when the electricity is cut off, then the different molecules become random, so it will become opaque. So actually, it's filled with hydrogel in between the two layers. So I believe that when this glass is used in a meeting room, and it will be better than the shade window, and it's super fast. It's very easy. It actually can adjust the translucency with electronic control. It's very convenient. So today, we see so many people here, and I think this is partially due to the summer holiday. I see a lot of parents taking their kids here. Now here, this is a 3D printing wall. 3D printing is already very prevalent in China. A lot of the kids, they are able to use a 3D printing pencil, but this 3D printed optical wall is also very futuristic, and all the materials on this wall, they are actually printed using 3D. So this is the FDM cable wire, and this is actually hot melting, and when it is heated up, it will be melted, and then it will be sprayed out from this nozzle, and it will actually be printing stuff in a 3D format. So I see we already have a lot of exhibits here, and you can actually connect them all over there and form a piece of wall. And also it's very cheap and it's very cost effective, because this material is also very cheap, and it's actually very convenient. And also the computer, the machine, it can operate 24/7, and within a half an hour it will be able to deliver such a brick. So this is the translucent concrete. It's very hard to pronounce, but it's very popular among all the exhibits here. So when you talk about concrete, and what comes into your mind is those gray, opaque, very hard stuff. But this, what we're having here, is a translucent concrete. So it cannot just support your weight, but also allow the light from the outside to come in, and it gives you this very artistic feeling. So we see a lot of exhibits here, and we have a lot of designs that's actually encouraging the customers to have an interaction with the exhibits. For example, this is a translucent concrete. I can use my flash of the cell phone, and I can see such beautiful effect from beneath the concrete. And now let's take a look at this brick, because they have added some reflective elements, and so if I shoot my camera here, then somewhere else it's gonna shine up. So this is quite different from the traditional concrete that we see on the streets, and we see we are now living in a forest of concrete. It's cold, it's indifferent, but if we could use this translucent material in the streets in the future, then the city will become much more lively. And actually the engineering psychology behind this is very simple. It's just different types of glass fiber combined with some concrete bricks. And so this is the process of manufacturing, and this is the module, and this is the finished products, and you just need to combine these two different products, and so you can get a translucent concrete. So first and foremost, we need to add some glass fiber in it, and then you need to pour some cement in it, and then you can get a translucent concrete. So yeah, I got it. You just need to put these different layers of glass fiber in it, and then you can get a translucent concrete. So I want to ask the producer, Madam Zhang Huihong, so how did you come up with such an idea, and how did you come up with the idea of putting so many different things together? So all the objects that you have so far seen is for visual. Almost 80% of the information human beings receive are from visual, so that's why we put the visual stuff at the very beginning, and so the concrete translucence and also the translucent metallic board, all these are translucent. So now let's take a look at this wall, and our viewers, you can also take a look at this wall, and you can share with us how you feel. And does this give you a three-dimensional feeling? Yeah, on the outside it looks like some lines and some waves, but actually it's a flat. And but we have some different lines of holes, and from a close distance you can see that these are just a flat board, and but on it you have a lot of concave dots and holes, and each and every hole is giving you different angles, so you got this very spectacular squammer wall. So our designers, they used a lot of new materials, and the designers, they got so inspired with some new material. And for example, this clothing, and this is another very good and fresh innovation, although that we do not have a real object here because this is currently being displayed in a very important place. So these are actually programmed. There's no wind, but the clothes is moving. It's moving also in accordance with your facial expression. There is no wind, and it's a combination of fashion and science. So you have to give different facial expressions to move your clothes. So this part is mainly about visual. And yes, you're right. So far, this is about a visual, and now we're gonna enter into a multi-sensational area. So on the floor, we see a lot of liquid bricks. So this is also a place very popular among the kids because the liquid there in it is movable, and when they step on it, and it will flow to different directions, and it's very popular among the kids. So this is very interactive. A lot of the kids, they will step their feet on it, and this is very cool. And this is also a real-time change according to the different pressure of your feet, and it can immediately resume its original pattern, and so it's very popular among the kids. So this is for the visual part, and now let's go to the hearing sensation, and this is the conductive ink water. So all the electronic wires, they are conductive, but this ink is also conductive. Let's take a look at these three boards, and they are giving us a demonstration of all those conductive ink. First, it's a weather forecast, and you can touch it. Alright, it seems that we're having some bug here. So sorry, because it's been touched too often by the kids, and maybe some of the facilities are not working that well. So this is a cat here, but actually behind this bar, we're actually only drawing some lines using the conductive line, and you just need to touch the black area. This is the area within the conductive lines because human hands are also conductive, and when you touch the board, the conductivity of the board changes, and when you touch it, you're gonna have some different effects. So this will be particularly popular among those who love cats, and so with this board you can feel the screaming of the cats, and this is very cool. So these are different sound syllables, and you can touch them and tap them. So this is different musical scale, and you can actually kind of feel what is the feeling like from the two previous boards, and you can touch the weather symbol, and you will be able to hear the soundstorming and different sounders. And here you touch the musical scale, and you will be able to hear the piano, and so it's actually a glass that can generate sound. So you just need to draw some symbol with the conductive ink, and it will give you some sound. And but of course you have to guarantee safety, right? Of course. I see so many kids here, and they like to touch the board because. So this is a wall of fragrance. You just touch this wall, and it will give you some different type of fragrance. I'm sorry, our viewers cannot smell this, but I will be smelling this stuff on your behalf. So you just need to smell it. You just need to touch it or scratch it, and then you can smell a fragrance. So what did you smell? So this is like grass. I believe it's a mixture of many different smells because there are too many scratches on the board. It's actually using a macro capsule, and inside those capsules we have some very micro tiny fiber balls. In those fiber balls, we put a lot of fragrance material or chemical material in it, and when you scratch the board, and you're gonna break those molecular balls. We have actually millions of microballs which consists of such a smell or fragrance wall, and when you scratch the board, and it will give you this smell. So this reminds me of a couple of days ago I got a traveler's brochure, and they have a peach picture on the brochure, and they told me that you scratch the bridge, and peach is gonna give you the smell of peach. So this is exactly the technology we're talking about, and what's funny is that it can log in this fragrance for a very long time. For example, I can spray the fragrance on something, but over time it will disappear. But this is quite different, and this can accommodate this fragrance for a very long period of time. And as you mentioned, that's only when you scratch and break the ball can it generate this fragrance to you. So this is a combination of visual and touch. So there are different colors right in front of us, and for example, you will feel that fire. Red is the color of warm. It's a warm color, and blue is the cold color. So because when you feel cold, then you feel kind of blue. So that's why we call blue a cold color, and you can touch these different colors, and these are all red, but some of them are actually cold and some are very hot. So this is depending on different touch sensation, and some of the materials, some of the colors, they are actually very warm and they are very cold. And this is simply to tell you that what we feel is quite different from what things actually are. So this is safe house, And safety is the most fundamental and basic need of human beings. And we talk about national safety, we also talk about individual safety, and all this are about safety. So here we want to give you even better sense of safety. So I see those children tapping this board using a hammer, and this is very recommendable, and this is a vibration absorptive material. I think this is the first time that this material is demonstrated in China, and it can offer some protection to human beings. So these young children, they are very interested in those interactive display. All right, I will invite Ms. Zhang to open this display, and let's take a look at this D30 vibration absorptive material. So this actually is very popular in China already. On the internet, you see a lot of introductions about this material, and for example, in a bathtub, we have some similar materials. Let's take a look at this one. So you can see how the ball is bouncing on the black mat. But for example, on this one, on this vibration absorptive material, the ball will not bounce back. This is the D30 material, and it can immediately saturate the pressure once the object hits the mat. So we're actually using the material from the small can. So when we place our hands on it, for example, if I press the material used with my hand, it's very soft and it can actually bounce back. In general scenario, it's just very fluid and very bouncing, but once it's hit by something hard, it will actually absorb the pressure. So Ms. Zhang is giving us a live demo. So exactly because this is vibration absorptive, it can be used as some small devices. It can be used as a small clothing, and we can put the clothing on. We can, self-protect ourselves. So this is very innovative, and I try to hammer it. And you may feel that it's soft and it's like rubber, but once you knock it with the hammer, you feel that this is knocking into a absorptive wall. So this is a security paper, and this can actually identify or distinguish real currency from the fake ones. Also, we have a anti-fake stripe, so you can put on these glasses. What do you see? So let's put this on a camera and see if the camera can see that clearly. Just 1 second, let's make some adjustments. So we are able to see a famous Chinese calligraphy. So with this glass, you can tell the difference between authentic stuff and fake stuff. This is actually a anti-fake stripe, and this can be used on your identification card, on your driver's license, and also on your passport. So those criminals, they will never be able to falsify an ID like ours when our ID is equipped with such anti-fake stripe. So this is a very strange material. It's actually called 3D safety foil. Take a look at this one. This, you may think there is some thickness, but actually it has some depth between 1 and 2 millimeters. I think it's 3 to 4 millimeters. I think it's as thick as one half centimeter, but it's actually only 87 micrometers, so it's very thin, super thin. But with naked eyes, you may think this is like having the thickness of 100-fold, and this is totally wrong. So on some symbols and labels, then we can use this technology. For example, this is the QR code on a bottle, and you may think that it's very thick, it's three-dimensional on this bottle, but actually it's only sticking on this bottle. It's only a very thin paper. Let's continue. Well, this is another security cloth. So I just need to tell the viewers that this is for security purposes. So when we say, actually we can see this from the security vest of traffic police, and also we can see this from umbrellas and raincoats, but traditional raincoats and security vests, they do not give us any artistic impression. But with our technology, you can add different stripes on it, and it will look very beautiful. And once you have lights on it, and it will showcase very different shapes, and it can immediately draw your attention. So you can take a photo with your cell phone and take a photo with the flash on, and you can see that it's very different from what you see with the naked eye. So this is a reflective security vest, and it looks very beautiful, and it's also very safe to wear on the streets, and it can improve your safety. So this is a super hard protective coatings. So what is this? What are its features? You see a ping pong ball here, right? It's ping pong balls are very crispy, and you squeeze it with your fingers, and it will de-shape and deform. But once it is added with the protective coating, it will be very hard and very endurable. And let's take a look. And so this is still a ping pong ball, only with the coating for protective purposes. And once you drop it from a height, it will not be that bouncing, and it's very useful. In addition to some plastic objects, and it can also be coated on some metallic objects, and it can increase the hardness and endurability by 3 to 5 folds. So what if I add this coating to my cell phone? So it will be more endurable, right? At least it can protect the other side of your phone, but for the front side, you still have to see the screen, right? Yes, and this is very useful. So this is a natural material, a very organic material. It's actually produced in the Alps mountain, and the Alps mountain area is very well preserved. So this is actually pressing the flower and grass from the mountains of Alps, and we have added some organic cohesive ingredients. So it's such a great pleasure for us to be in this program. So we can smell the fragrance from the grass of Alps mountain, and it's pressed to this thickness, but still you can feel the fiber and fabric of the grass and flower, and it's very organic. You can use it as some decoration materials in your home, and you can also use it as a cell phone case. So it's very environmental, and it's very organic and very natural, and it looks very beautiful. And apart from what we see here on the ceiling, we see some very innovative designs, and this is a moss cloud, and this actually, the moss is very popular in Nordic regions, and so we just transplanted a lot of moss here. It was originally dark gray, so we changed its color and we processed it a little bit, so we have made a moss cloud, and it's very beautiful. And right in front of us, so this is very tall, and the kids, they're not going to be able to touch the cloud. Here we want to have a close hands-on experience with the kids, and you can feel this moss. So this moss, it can absorb the humid, so it's very dry, and it can help improve the air quality of a home. And so this is the white paper scrapped by maybe the children, and so this is the Dubon paper. Though it's called paper, it's actually a piece of cloth, and it's manufactured by the company called DuPont, and it's very endurable, and it's very hard for you to scrap it. So you can try. Hey boy, you can try hard. Try scrape it. It's very difficult to scrape because this is scrape resistant, and we have some open cuts here, so it's very easy from this area. But if we don't have these open cuts, it's very difficult for you to cut it or scrape it. So we see so many very funny objects from many different parts of the world. And in my conversation with Madam Zhang, and she said what we could demonstrate are only those stuff that are selected, and there is a lot of deliberation behind this. And we try to, for example, for the safety part, and we want to work out a safety sponge mat, and when the kids come here, they can jump on it and they feel very, very cozy. But because of fire control considerations, and we have to give up these ideas. So we have to give up a lot of the ideas of designers. Yes, you're right. A lot of times we have very beautiful ideas, and but sometimes they are not able to be translated into reality. But we're doing this out of consideration for safety. But still, we have a sponge boy. Take a look at this one. It's actually a small sponge, and it actually has some memory. And we want to make it smaller, make it the size when people can carry it up and forward. You can unleash your temper on it, and so this is very interactive, and you can throw your punch on it, and it's very reliable, and so far this is still very intact. So try push it, try if you could push it forward. So how do you feel today? I think these materials, they are just magic. So how come you can never knock this over? And what I also like is that it's so amazing to see a lot of stuff that you cannot find in your daily life. Thank you very much. So the kids, they very much like this, and they get so immersed in it, and maybe they can learn a lot more here than in their classrooms. And I hope that after the summer holiday, when they go back to classrooms, they can bring back this curiosity and use it in their learning. And this is actually our original intention. So Shanghai Natural Science Museum and Shanghai Science and Technology Museum, we have a lot of similar programs. We try to encourage the kids to engage better in their learning. So we have talked about the visual, the sensational, and also the safety area. Now let's take a look at this part. This is the illumination part. We call it the daydreamers. So these materials and these objects, they look beautiful, and they are also very light and very thin. So you can see from the color that this area is very cozy and it's illuminating. And now let's take a look at these backdrops. So this is customized acrylic board. It's very translucent. Acrylic is even more translucent than glass, and its translucency rate can reach 93%, and you see some feathers in it, and it's very natural. So it's like amber, and it's just like amber, and it's very endurable, and it's 20 to 30 folds more endurable than traditional glass. So this is what we call a flexible stone. Why flexible? Because this is very elastic, and this is so for the thinnest stone, and this is also what we call the pressed stone. You can see how thin it is. And we also added a layer of wool, and so that's why it looks so fluffy, so puffy. And these materials, they are very valuable because a lot of these objects, they are demonstrated for the first time. And so you may think it's very fragile. It's actually not. So this is not, we're not demonstrating this flower. We're actually showcasing this white stuff, and this is the silica aerogol, and you may think this is very heavy, but we put it on a bunch of flour, and it's not giving any weight to the flour. Why this is so light? Because 98% of its object is air. So this is a multi-hole nano material. It's very light, but it's also very heat resistant, and it can insulate heat. We see some bold netizens doing experiments on the internet, and they just put this on their face, and they try to burn their face, and it's absolutely very safe. Oh, this is very dangerous. So we do not recommend anyone trying this at your homes. And this is a solid cloud, and this is a silica aerogol, and this can endure a weight that is 10,000-fold of your body weight. And this technology is also used by astronauts. It may look very clumsy, but it's very flexible and very light. So these are objects that look very artistic. They seem like some liquid, fixed liquid. This is actually the acrylic glass with strips, with some stripes, and this is simulating the stripes of ice cubes, and they are very endurable, and you can place a lot of weight on it. What you now see is a super translucent glass. So it's very light. It's like silk, but it's actually a glass, and you can see the wind is blowing, and if you watch closely, you can see it's reflective. If you put it in your hand or on your arm, you will find that your skin is turned better, and this material is also used to manufacture some high-end fashion dress, and it can also be used as the backdrop for projectors because it can reflect light, and so that's why it's so popular among the technicians. So how come this super organza possible? It's possible because this is super light, and it's super reflective for the light, and it's you just put it on a wall and you don't feel that it exists on a wall, but when you project something on it, and it feels even better than the traditional backdrop. So we do not have a fan here, but this silk-like glass is moving. You can feel how light it is. So this is a graphene. This is a graphene. A graphene material, and this is very popular nanotechnology. And this is also aerogol. It's only carbon, and this graphene is very valuable. And graphene is very light, but also very hard material. You can use the graphene to produce a lot of electronic products, some super lightweight airplanes, and also bridges. On the right, we have an iPad to every exhibit. You can take a look at the video. So this is what we call a metallic web. Traditionally, a web is weaved using glass, but this is actually weaved through by metal, and this is a metallic silk, and it's very light, and it's very endurable and flexible. So that is why it can be this concave, and it can be used to form some permanent statue shapes. So you can regard this as a artistic work. This is like a piece of paper that is scrapped. So this is a little dark here, and this is the humor area. So here we demonstrated a couple of objects that are very interactive and very humorous. Let's take a look. So we have a lot of volunteers, and they are serving these kids all day long. So let's take a look at this one. We have 3 objects here. We are actually focusing on this cylinder-like part. Let's try this one. So here, so this is what we call the light cone. Actually, it can showcase the characters on the round board. You can see those characters, and this is from a Chinese verse from Yuan Dynasty. So what is this? What is this technology? It's actually using a light cone to transmit the light from one place to another, and this is actually transmitting the light, so that's why it looks so vivid. And you can take a look at this here, and it's very thin at the top and very thick at the bottom, so it can give you a enlarged vision about the characters on the board, and it's very interesting. Each and every day we see a lot of kids here trying to have an experience. So this is our volunteer guiding them how to better use this and how to understand this object. So a lot of the kids do not understand what this is about, so it's at this moment that our volunteers pitch in and help them with some instructions. So this is a color changing ink. You can put your hands on it and take a look. See, the color has changed. So, well, this shows that the temperature of your hand is above 28 degrees. So when the temperature is above 28 degrees, it will change the color. And the higher the temperature is, the more the color changes. So this is very pragmatic, and in Germany they have worked out a wall coating material, and they just put this material on a bike, and the bike is actually dark color black, but in the night the color is gonna change from black to white. Then even from a distance it's easily recognizable, and it can improve the safety of the biker. So maybe they are using the opposite logic, and this one, it changes colors when the temperature goes up, and the bike may change color when the temperature drops. So let's take a look here. Our friendly Miss Zhang is giving us the demo, and so this is a very interesting interaction. So it's a very dark scenario. Let's take a photo of Miss Zhang. Let's take a look at this photo. So this is the photo. This is what we call the rainbow colored reflective glass. So it can reflect the light from the camera, and that's why you cannot see your face from the photo, and this is very interesting. Let's move on. Here we see some people drawing on a board, and this is a color changing material, and because of the light, what we draw on the board can change its color, and when the molecule accepts the ultraviolet ray and natural light, and it will change its color, and it's also reversible, which means that over some period of time it can resume its original color. Alright, let's move on. So this is the cartoon board. Exactly, and we transforming this board as a blackboard, and so you can actually remove them from the board. For example, I have stuck a house on it. It's very easy to remove it and stick it on a wall. So is this like the tape that we use? No, this is actually different, because you see no glue here, and it's very smooth from this side. But actually on it we have a lot of very tiny absorptive stuff, and it's just like octopus. It's just like octopus, so that's why we call it the octopus paper, and you can remove it and stick it on a wall for millions of times, and it will not change its feature. And if we have some dirt on it, we can wash it and we can dry it, and then we can use it again. So this is very endurable, and so this is quite different from the papers that tape papers that we use in our office, and when it becomes dirty it's not usable at all. But here it's very useful, and it can be used as a teaching board, and you can stick some animals and houses, and you can tell a lot of mysterious stories to your kids, and it's very humorous and interactive. So here, this is another very interesting area. Let's take a look here. So we see a lot of kids today, and let's not interrupt them and let them enjoy this game. So what does this look like? Does it look like ink? Does it look like water? So maybe Mr. Zhou Ming, can you explain a little bit what this is? So let's take a look here. This is what we call the fluid magnetic stone. So it can be as fluid as liquid as water, and it can also serve as a magnetic stone, and it can be immediately dropped and stuck to this magnetic stone. So we have a little magnetic bar here because we have some magnetic elements in those fluid, so that's why they can immediately come to our bar. And well, they are not just coming to this bar, and they are also showcasing this hedgehog fur shape, and that's because of the magnetic line of this element, and this can be very useful. It can be applied in some sound control devices and also some medical equipment. And now let's come to the very final part of this museum. This is the future house. So in today's world, digital technologies are used in every aspect, and so here we have combined digital technology with our daily life, and so we can feel what the life is like in the future. So first on our left, this is the LED wallpaper. The LED wallpaper. So we have only heard LED light. We have never heard of the LED wallpaper. So it's actually a combination of both, and let's take a look. So this is resembling an old wall. So this is actually a LED wallpaper. You see we have some very tiny light bulbs here. It's very endurable, by the way. Although even when they are turned on for like 24 hours a day, and they can be valid for 6 years. So this is the VR zone, and VR, as you know, is virtual reality technology, and it can give you a very immersive feeling, both hearing, visual, and sensational, and it can immediately bring you to a digital world that is so virtual and so futuristic. So alright, I will have a VR experience on behalf of all the viewers, and then I will share my feeling with all the viewers. But our viewers, they will be able to see from this computer screen what I'm seeing with my equipment. Alright, let's get started. So when I'm experiencing this, maybe Miss Zhang, can you introduce to us what this is about? Maybe Miss Zhang can share more with us. You know, how come you come up so much different inspiration while presenting this exhibition, and you know, where your ideas came about? So this is the last stop of this museum from a cognitive perspective, and first we get information from all the sensational organs, and then we get to a deeper level, for example, to the spiritual level, humor, safety, and security. And at the final stage, it's about future. It's about envisioning about the future. The materials, they are evolving generation by generation. We have gone through the Stone Age, the Bronze Age, all those ages, they are named after material. So now we call this era the age of information. But information is not a material. Information is not something that is tangible. So we are combining the digital, the non-tangible, with something tangible. So at this at this part of the museum, we are experiencing another form of mold or the emotion of the material. And so this is the theme of this museum, of this exhibition. So for us, what we are more concerned about is how we can use this and how this can be applied in our daily life in the future. All right, for this part, let me have a VR experience. You will be entering into a future world of material. You just need to put on this VR glasses. All right, our viewers, you can take a look at what I'm seeing from this computer screen. All right, make sure that this is comfortable. I will tighten it. Is this okay? Yes. All right, let me turn on this device. All right, you have now entered into an experiment lab. I can hear some instructions from my ears. So you just need to touch the acrylic board and you are now in an acrylic world, and what I now feel is that I'm floating in a space. So we're still at the first floor. Alright, now you can take the lift and get to the second floor. And now I see right in front of me a board written with 1 and 0. So this VR technology is so amazing. I know I'm stepping on a floor, but my sensation is telling me that I'm moving up. So now to your left, please. Okay, on my left, I see a stand. On my left? Yes. So I can see my hand. I can feel that this is like a mechanic arm, mechanic hand. And you can even touch the board. So this is a box in front of me, right? So now you're entering into the world of graphene. So now I'm given an introduction about this world. You can walk around and it seems that you are truly immersed in this world. I feel that I'm very tiny in this giant world. Alright, this is the end of this experience. Although it's very short, it gives you a very different feeling and you feel that you are in a different world. So you can feel that a lot of these materials, they are from nature and they are renovated, reprocessed to serve better our life. And with the development of technology, we have manufactured some new material which has further improved our life. So today, a special thanks to Zhou Ming and Ms. Zhang, and also to our cameraman, and thank you all to the viewers, and thank you very much for watching our program. See you next time. Bye bye.